Are we looking at the entire show, including the last 2 seasons? Because we know the losers writing the show ran out of book material. Just like the socialists and a perfectly good system, they crashed the show to the ground into a flaming dumpster of Marxism because they have absolutely no clue what they're doing.
Trump, bad writing does not correlate to Marxism.
Yes, it does.
Regardless, seasons 7 and 8 are still part of the show, so unfortunately, yes. We'll have to also take into consideration how characters acted in the last 2 seasons. Unless you guys want to rank the book series instead for a more accurate and authentic evaluation of the characters.
I always liked when Aragorn stormed the Black Gate. Reminds me of my time with Teddy and the Rough Riders.
We're talking about Game of Thrones, Sleepy Joe, you ancient fuck. Are you off your meds again? Anyways, did you guys actually read the books?
I didn't, but I tell my voters I did.
I have dyslexia, so reading's been a bit hard for me these days.
The scriptwriter for your teleprompter would know, but yeah, reading's for nerds. Let's just stick with the show.
Are we ranking the characters based on how base they are? You see what I did there? That's what the cool kids say, right? I'm based.
Shut up, Dementia Joe, but ranking the baseness of each character sounds good to me.
I propose that we rank based on something more objective, like the quality of character writing and development.
You're such a killjoy, Obama. This isn't your wife's book club. Can we just rant? I know you have plenty of characters to complain about, too.
Okay, fine, but let's go by houses to organize the characters. House Stark. House Words. Winter is coming.
That's not the only thing that's coming. Trump 2024, bitches.
Coming to lose, like in 2020.
Fuck you, Joe, and your fake votes.
Okay, can we get back to this? What do you guys think about the Starks?
Salsa's a whiny bitch. I only liked when Giga Chad Ramsey grabbed her by the...
Okay, if this was a Miss Universe pageant, you'd be ranking her S tier.
But this isn't a Miss Universe pageant. Easy D tier.
Her hair looks nice. I bet it smells like lilacs. Redheads always smell nice. S tier.
I prefer blondes.
Like your daughter?
I said if she wasn't my daughter, you and the fake news are always taking me out of context. But I stand by putting Salsa in D tier.
I do agree that she's lacking as a strong character, but that was the point of her character. A spoiled girl with white privilege getting thrown into a bloody political world where adults are murdering each other for power, and she eventually is hardened and made cynical by that. But I would agree, definitely one of the lesser Starks of the show. I'd make an argument for B tier, but let's put her in C and move on.
Are we not going to mention how much of an uber bitch she was for letting Jon Snow and his army get slaughtered in the Battle of the Bastard? Rather than let Jon know that she has the Knights of the Vale in her pocket, she lets Jon fly into battle and have thousands of Northerners murdered just to have her girl boss moment.
You make a good point, Trump. Let's put her in D tier.
Oh, come on, man.
Moving on, how about Rickon?
Who?
Moving on, Ned Stark.
He was too soft, and that's why he died. C tier.
I don't understand this honor thing, but he died doing what he thought was right. He had no desire for power.
You're right. D tier.
Let me be clear, Eddard Stark was the GOAT of Game of Thrones. Not only is he the progenitor of the majority of the main characters we follow, his brief time on the show echoes throughout the entire run. His sudden and unexpected death not only drives the preceding plot, but it also sets the tone of the show. If you play by the rules, you lose everything. The tragedy of this power game is that there's no place for people with honor and integrity. I'm putting him in A tier.
You would know, you've been in Washington for a while, but I agree. Politics is not for the weak. Being a father and dying doesn't justify A tier. He played the Game of Thrones badly and lost. This is what happens when you don't read Art of the Deal. D tier.
Who are we talking about? I was in the kitchen getting chocolate chip ice cream.
Ned Stark, you dumb fuck.
Oh yeah, great character. I loved when he fought the White Witch with Aslan.
Donnie, I'll settle with low B tier. Bran Stark.
Bran the Broken, first of his name, reminds me of me, especially with the fans telling me, let's go.
I prefer his namesake, Bran the Builder. Now that's a wall.
Let's focus on characters actually in the show.
What a beautiful wall. A magnificent, glorious wall. I don't see any Mexicans in Westeros.
Obviously, they're in Sotheros.
It would be Sothorios, and there are no Mexicans in Game of Thrones.
That's pretty racist of J.R.R. Tolkien to not be inclusive.
Cancel him.
Okay, you guys, Bran Stark, rank him.
The Builder, S++. I'm also a builder of sorts. Have you been to my hotels?
No, Donald, Bran the Broken.
That cripple, first and last of his name, he's not fathering anyone. Lamest excuse for a president since 2020. He was dragged around the show more than Joe was to the presidency. Who wants a president named Bran the Broken? We already have Biden the Broken. And what was the deal with him knowing everything? The only payoff was him saying, "Why did you think I came here?" Lazy writing. He knew all those people would die and just literally wrote around the whole thing so he'd be president of the remaining 6 people who survived. I guess he let everyone die so they could vote for him. I don't even want to rank him, but F tier.
Yeah, the showrunners really fumbled his development like you did with the election. Remember season 5 where we didn't see or hear from him at all? Best season. I think the writers were confused about what to do, or maybe forgot his existence like Daenerys did with the Iron Fleet. Still, what George Martin was trying to do with Bran and the magical time travel was pretty cool and tragic. I would love to see that come to fruition.
Yeah, if he could get off his lazy ass and finish the series before Hillary runs again.
What a nice woman. I went to an island with her once. Can't remember the specifics. She deleted all the emails about it.
Joe, stop before you incriminate all of us. Let's put Bran in F and move on to Robb.
I have long contended that the bridge deal was the worst trade deal ever made, but once he made it, he should have stuck to it, like a businessman doing business. But he didn't. He obviously never read Art of the Deal. This is why all the Stark men died or are crippled.
Donnie, you would have just asked your dad to buy the bridge and stuck a gaudy golden T on them.
I see nothing wrong with that. It's prime real estate. You can turn one tower into a hotel, the other into a casino. It's also the perfect wedding venue.
Robb was cool. I see a bit of myself in him, the idealist blinded by love, passion, exotic women, exotic hair, and ideals.
Joe, you're so old. Your ideals start with Jim and end with Crow.
Hey, I was 50 years old. We all make mistakes in our youth. You know I love colored people.
Joe, stop talking. Robb was a great military tactician, even besting the more experienced commanders like Tywin and Jaime Lannister. Unfortunately, he had too much of his father in him.
Like Ivanka?
Shut the fuck up, Joe. One more joke like that and I'll leave this call to go do next trios with the Bushes. We're grinding out full Torva on our UIMs.
Your Bushes talk too? I was just telling my sister, Dr. Jill, about the Bushes outside the Orville office.
Robb was an interesting character for the brief time he was on the show. The flaws he did have were believable and understandable based on his character and his upbringing by Ned and Kat as the firstborn son. He believed in honor, valor, and love. As brutal as his death was, he was no politician. He had no place ruling the 7 kingdoms, let alone the North. His death reinforced the theme that idealism has no place for those with the responsibility of power, as well as serving to further drive the conflicts in King's Landing. Overall, he was a solid character. I would be fine putting him in A tier.
Why are you trying to put losers in A tier?
Fine B tier with his dad.
Whatever, I just want to move on to the Lannisters.
Hang on, we still have Arya and Catelyn.
Cat's a Tully.
What about John Eskimo?
Did you even watch the show?
I don't remember if I did.
Jesus Christ, Joe, let's just put Arya in D and move on.
Now hold your horses, Donnie. We need to have some semblance of a discussion on this and come to a democratic agreement.
No, veto, executive order, moving on.
Override your executive order. Why do you want Arya in D tier?
He's my favorite of the Tony Stark boys.
She's a girl, Joe. I thought you would be able to smell that.
So Arya is a they, them. That's great. I've always been supportive of that throughout my political career.
No, Joe, she's always been a girl. She's just tomboyish.
Now, who is Tom?
What was up with that whole no one thing? She was born a Stark. She already is a nobody. I guess being nameless would be better than being a Stark. I still think she stole the kill on the Night King from Jon like Joe did with the election.
Hey, buddy, I won fair and square. I counted the votes myself, all 600 million of them.
Joe, the U.S. population is around 300 million, including children. I think you committed voter fraud.
That's not voter fraud. It's not my fault they asked me to count everyone I've met since the Civil War.
Whatever, Joe. You're on my list. Only good idea Arya had. I liked her whole vengeance arc, especially her dynamic with the Hound, but what did that lead to? The later seasons are plagued with non-stop girl boss moments, hers included. Her final form be like, oh, what a cute little sociopathic killing machine. Only kills like 2 people on her list. And she creepily threatens Sansa when nobody's in the room, so that they could pretend to turn against each other and girl boss all over Peter, a cheap plot twist by the writers that retardifies the smartest man in Westeros.
There's nothing wrong with being a girl boss.
Is Michelle in the room, or is she busy ruining school meals and childhoods while fistfighting obesity?
I do agree that the resolution of her character arc left something to be desired. She has been utterly consumed by vengeance for the entire show. The most interesting narrative aspect of this manifested in her relationship with the Hound, in which she struggles to reconcile her feelings of hate towards him, but in the end is thankful that the Hound stops her from going through with a suicide mission to futilely kill Cersei. Cersei was going to die anyways. Now what is she left with? Does she feel like she's avenged her family, or is she left twiddling her thumbs? The show didn't know what to do with her, so they shipped her off.
Well, her becoming Christopher Columbus was pretty cool. I think the show was trying to conclude her vengeance arc by having her survive Daenerys' destruction of King's Landing, symbolizing the ultimate and senseless destruction that results from the vicious cycle of revenge, and symbolizes her finding her inner peace when she is saved by a random white horse.
Wow, that's very insightful of you, Donald.
All that was very gay. C tier.
Okay, Donald, I guess it's time for the Lannisters.
What about Theon?
Why is this dumbass even here? Did you even get past the first episode?
Did you? John told him he's a Greyjoy and a Stark in season 7.
How the fuck you remember that?
What can I say about old Joey here? Sharp as a pack.
A pack of spoons, maybe. Anyway, that's not literal. He's a Greyjoy. We'll deal with his whiny ass when we get to those pioneers of business.
Hang on, Donnie. I need to use the restroom. We've been going at it for a while now.
Joe, it's only been like 10 minutes. Just use your catheter, you dinosaur.
Just go and hurry back, Joey. This is going to be a long tier list.